Okay, I've been working on my 2007 Land Rover LR3 with 105,000 miles, and it's got a bad startup knocking, rattling noise that lasts for a couple of seconds when you first start it up cold, and then if you let it sit for an hour or so, it'll still rattle on startup. So I was digging in to figure out what's wrong, and there's a message that points about these VCT gears here. And so I took one apart to see what was inside of it and see what's going on, and I think I figured out exactly what the knocking comes from and why it is. So if you look right here, this center piece, this is the piece that actually bolts to the camshaft. So when the bolt goes through here, it goes straight into the camshaft and locks it in. So it goes through like that, because this piece is just a straight through hole. So that center piece is bolted to the cam. That leaves the outer gear to rotate and give you the variable timing that they're after. So here's the piece that moves, and then if you look right down in there, there's a hole. That hole is where the locking pin goes, that is in this lobe right here of this centerpiece. So right here, the way this is set up, if it moves to this part, it locks in real nice, does exactly what it's supposed to do. So let's take these bolts loose. And this is what I found out when I took this apart. There is quite a bit of play right here in this housing. And this is what they have you check for the run out when this rotates around, how much run out you have. They say it's egg shaped. Well, it appears to be pretty good and round, but if you tease this all the way up to the edge of the cam gear and retighten your bolts, there's one, two, all right, so we're now on the wrong end of tolerance right here, and the pin that's supposed to fit in there, if this rotates, there's a stop point right here. This lobe is going to hit this piece of the housing and it won't go any farther. So over here, I'm all the way as far as it'll go, but I'm not locked. I just tried to lock in right there. I'll pop it up real quick. But as it goes over here, it doesn't lock. I can move it. So here's your startup knock. So it's not allowed to lock in there, and until the oil pressure comes in and fills up this area and the other areas, it's going to knock like crazy for a couple of seconds on startup. So when I pull this out, all these little veins are going to pop out of here, but I'll show you what the pin looks like. These are just little spring veins. There's the hole for the pin, and here's the pin. When oil pressure comes down here, fills up that cavity, it pushes this pin up and releases it and gets it into the variable valve timing mode. When you stop the car, it goes back to the lock position, and that's what it's failing to do because of the play right here in this outer housing. Hope that makes sense.